Hi, Dangerously Incompetent here with another video about Crossout. I was going to bring you a video entitled If You Can't Beat Them, Join Them. A video detailing the finer points of my drone build. But Gaijin have put paid to that with another faildate. That's right, they attempted to apply the nerfbat to drones, but the drones fought back. I logged in this morning, update, okay. A couple of minutes later, oh, we're in. What's changed? Oh, they've attempted to nerf this. The sidewinder, no, sidekick, not sidewinder. And then poking around in the market, see what was changed, see if there's a, with the update, maybe there's an opportunity for a quick profit. And 2 minutes later, the servers fall over. Oh dear, it's another day, another fail date. Great. Oh well. So instead of the video I intended, if you can't beat them, join them, I present to you my video rant, Drone Apocalypse. Now with the update failure, you wonder what's going on. Why have they messed it up? Well, as a programmer, I can present to you two likely scenarios. Now, the first scenario is Drone Apocalypse! All the bloggers and vloggers are complaining that drones are overpowered. The battles are full of drones. All the non-drone players are leaving the game in their drones. Sorry, droves. Nerf the drones, nerf the drones. You, developer, nerf the drones. Developer, programmer, nerf the drones, nerf the drones. But we're in the middle of fixing these bugs. And when I say in the middle of, the vehicle's up on the lift, we've taken the engine out, and the engine's in bits all over the workbench. We can't, we're not at a practical point to compile it all and send out the update. We got to do it, you got to do it. No, there is some justification for the pressure. I mean, online games is a popularity contest, and the smallest thing can tip you into being popular and profitable, or tip you into being unpopular with very few players and not profitable, and the company goes bust. So there's a lot of pressure there to stop things like the drone apocalypse. It didn't seem that bad to me, to be honest. I mean, yes, there were a lot of fuse bots around, because suddenly you could actually make them instead of being in the night special where you made a crate and then you rolled the dice and maybe you got something useful and maybe you got a fuse bot and maybe you got something rubbish. So there's going to be a lot of fuse bots, but they seem to die off pretty quick. And then it seemed to fill up with sidekicks. I don't remember any mention of the sidekicks being buffed, so they were the same as they were before. It's just that suddenly maybe some popular video logger went, "Look, drones are hugely overpowered, you should play drones." And then some people played drones and found them effective, and then lots of other people copied them. And it's a sort of popularity thing. It's not that the sidekicks were overpowered, it's that people perceived them to be overpowered. Maybe they were a bit overpowered. But anyway, the upshot is big reaction from the developers, because lots of people are playing sidekicks. The map battles were full of them, for one reason or another. So they hit the nerfbat, but the actual people who are programming it are part way through fixing some bugs and unraveling stuff and putting it back together. And some bugs are really difficult to find. And you think, oh, it should be easy. Why have you got bugs in the first place? Well, it's like a program like Crossout. It's like the amount of text in the actual code will be something like two copies of Lord of the Rings back to back, and it's all got to be right. All the spelling, all the punctuation, all the grammar, all the proper names. They got all got to be correct, and it's all got to be logical, and it's all got to fit in, and it's all got to be absolutely right. So it's really difficult to avoid bugs, and really difficult to fix them if you've got one. Sometimes they're simple. You can say, "Oh, I found it," as soon as you see the issue it causes. But some are really take a long time to fix. And if you're in the middle of digging around in the innards of your very complicated program, and someone says, oh, you got to change this and shove it out, it's very easy to make a mistake. And you are trying something in the code to try and fix another bug, and you're taking off that so it stays there, and it actually causes a bug of its own, which is quite probably what's happened. So it's a combination of having to chuck out an update really quickly because of the pressures of the market, being in the middle of fixing a really complicated bug. Oh well. The other scenario, and this is entirely possible, is magic numbers. Ooh! Now, if you're not a programmer, you might not know what I mean by magic numbers, so I will explain. When you've got a value in your program, such as, say, the sidekick's power requirement, they've changed it from 3 to 4 as part of the nerf. Now, how do you get that value of 3, that power requirement, into the program? Well, one way is just to put the number 3 in the code. You'll assign a value to an object that represents the sidekick, and you say sidekick's power equals 3. There you go. Simple enough. But there are lots of other values of 3. It'll say the power requirement of a vector machine gun. That was 3. Yes, 3. So there's another 3 in the code somewhere. That causes problems when you want to change the value of the sidekick's power from 3 to 4. If you don't know the value is assigned to sidekick power, you might search on the value 3. And then you go, right, there's a 3, I just need to change that to 4, and off we go. But you haven't changed the sidekick's power requirement, you've changed the machine gun's power requirement to 4 rather, leaving because you were searching on the hard-coded number, and changing the machine gun's power requirements to 4 would be bad, but wouldn't be the end of the world. But you might get a different thing. Say there's a 4 somewhere in the calculations for gravity in the game. So you change it from 3 to 4, and suddenly when you go over a bounce, you go up, and you keep going up, and you don't stop going up, and you just fly off the planet as far as the game's concerned. And that's the magic number, and that's really bad, and you really shouldn't do that. But if you're in a hurry, that's what you do. Another way of putting numbers into the program is to put it in. I've forgotten the sort of term for it now. Not the hash defined. Fine. A constant. You defined a constant. That's it. So instead of putting the number 4 in your program, at the top of the file, your code file, you'll put define the constant sidekick power requirement equals 3. And that tells the compiler that compiles your code, when it sees the text sidekick power requirement, it inserts the number 3. And the benefit of this is you've defined the number at the head of a file, or with a load of other constants, so you can see is that text isn't going to be replicated anywhere else. You're not going to put sidekick power requirement in the gravity calculations, for instance. So you search for sidekick power requirement. Oh, there it is. Just the one line. I'll change that 3 to a 4, and you can be confident you've changed the right value, the right variable. You change the right variable to the right number. Everything's good. Now there's a third way. If you're a programmer who thinks ahead and looks at the game and go, there are all these values for these modules. There's a power requirement, the weight, the structure value, all that sort of stuff. And the game's in beta, and we're going to tinker around with those values to sort of balance the game, especially as it's a build and drive and fight game. Because you can build stuff, there's a huge number of variable outcomes, huge number of combinations of the different modules a player could put together, and there's no way you can test them all. I mean, how many things are there in there? A couple of hundred, and then there's the first one, and then the second one that you can combine them in 2 different ways, and then a third one means you can times 3, so 6 different combinations. Fourth one, you've got 24 combinations. Fifth one, it's 96 different combinations. It goes up exponentially, so it gets really complicated. So you can't test them all. So you're going to have to fiddle around with them in play, because with a massively online player base, someone somewhere is going to come up with a combinations that's absolutely killer that the developers didn't foresee. And then they'll play it a bit, and then they'll tell their friends, and then their friends will tell their friends, and suddenly everybody will be playing this combination, and you don't want that. So you're going to have to fiddle around with the numbers. So what you do is you put the numbers, maybe in a file, maybe in a database, on your servers, so that when people are playing the game, you can actually change those values live. I can go, the sidekick power is now 4. Put it down somewhere, which is nice and simple. You can change it on the fly, not a problem. The problem is you've got to have checks everywhere else in the program, so that you don't want to change anything in the middle of a battle. And when it comes, so your operator changes the power requirement from 3 to 4, and then suddenly a load of people's builds are invalid. So when they go into the garage, back into the garage, and try and select that car, it's got to come up, invalid build, you can't play this, you got to go, we changed the values, you got to go fix this. Well, but change your build. And then in the designer, it's got to, so there's a whole load of extra work doing that, quite apart from setting up the file or the database and making the interface to that, so you can change it reliably and not fuck up anything else. So that's a very costly way of doing it, and time is money. You know, it takes a lot of developer time to do that. So that's why you wouldn't do that. Might not do that. I would, but then I'm slow and dependable rather than fast and loose. I'm sure you can come up with other ways of putting numbers in that, but to do something even more complicated than any of those 3, or even worse, there's one worse that has been done before, but that's having the program change its own code on the fly. But you wouldn't need to do that for nerfing the sidekicks, so I won't go into that. So that's it. That's my rant. But what to do? I mean, this nerf has been done because the developers fear that the drone apocalypse was pushing players away. If they saw the numbers of concurrent players dropping, and people complaining, and the big complaint at the moment is drones are overpowered, the drones are everywhere, kill the drones, nerf the drones. They're going to nerf the drones because they're desperate to keep players. They don't want them leaving and going to, say, World of Tanks or something. But then there's the other side. If they rush out the update and muck it up, that's going to drive players away. Now for me, the drone apocalypse wasn't that bad. I mean, I had a drone build and I was playing that quite happily. I know it was obvious the drones were going to get nerfed at some point, but until that time, I just play a drone build. But other people will say, "Oh, drones everywhere, I'm not playing." For me, a bigger turn-off is a failed update, because it means I can't play when I want to. So, as a productive and contributive video rant, I'll ask you to vote. I'm going to put in the comments below which is more likely to drive you away: a drone apocalypse or a failed update. And hit the like button on those comments one of those two comments. Which is more likely to drive you away from Crossout into one of the competitors' arms? Yeah, that'd be useful, wouldn't it? That'd be nice to know. So, vote below in the comments. Cheers.